You're not going to let this go, are you? What is up, Hardcore Nation? It's Hardcore Christopher here, and I just got done watching a video by my dear old friend. And yes, old is implied, but you know what? I'm just not going to go there. Wrestling for fans. Now, off camera, we have talked about this issue, so I guess I should just dive right into it. I gave my 2 cents on Hell in a Cell in a wrestling group that I'm in on Facebook. So, for those of you that don't watch wrestling, that don't really care, for those of you that didn't even watch Hell in a Cell, we had two Hell in a Cell matches. One, Becky and Sasha, which Becky won. And two, where Vince booked Seth and The Fiend. First and foremost, I would like to say, wrestling for fans, you are not insane. You can get a little out there. And I get it. You're passionate about this business that we both love. That we're both fans of. I mean, you bring it up, it seems like every men's fellowship. Yes, I did a 20 minute plus video. And I went on a tirade about Brock Lesnar. Tirade was justified. I went on a tirade about Vince McMahon. That was justified. You know, first off, let me just say, wrestling fans, I love you. But you and I have talked off camera about this. And I know you're not happy about it. You definitely weren't happy last night when you were talking to me. And it seems like 24 hours has not calmed you down any. Well, it's calmed you down, but how can the referee call for the bell? I said it to you over the phone, and I'll remind you of my quote. I said that you and I both know that the referee can stop a match at any point in time. Any point in time where if both combatants cannot continue, the ref makes the decision that it's a draw. And in the event of a draw, the champion retains the title. Now, it was very interesting to me seeing the reaction of the fans. Because all I've heard out of wrestling fans is that Hell in a Cell sucked. Hell in a Cell sucked. Hell in a Cell was a good show. And I've had 24 hours to think about this. Hell in a Cell was a good show from top to bottom. Heck, the match between the Seth and the Fiend, it was booked like it should have been booked. Now let me go on to the finish, which everyone and their mother has an opinion about. But the consensus of the finish is it made no sense. And I do have to correct you on something. Vince is not a 70-year-old man. He is 75. Has he lost touch? Yes, he had. Now, I'm not saying that the WWE does not have their highs and their lows. They don't have their good times and their bad times. Because believe me, I've been watching the WWE ever since I was 5 years old. I'm 22 now. But I think everyone, including you, wrestling for fans, I think everyone is allowing themselves okay. Oh, okay. I think everyone is allowing themselves to be so upset over that finish that they forget that the show was decent. It was in between. It was decent. I said it was good earlier, but now I'm changing it. It was a decent show. I mean, it's like, okay. It's like this. When Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble back in 2015, the fans did not care. Why did the fans not care? Because Daniel Bryan got eliminated. But yet the year before, in 2014, Daniel Bryan wasn't even in the Royal Rumble. And when the people saw that their beloved hero, Daniel Bryan, was eliminated, they basically said, the heck with you. We don't care who wins this match. You know, I think, and I've even said this, sometimes I hate being a wrestling fan because there are wrestling fans who just take it way too far. But I have literally seen, and I've heard that people are boycotting Raw and SmackDown, and all they're going to watch is NXT and AEW. I'm not going to judge them, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm still going to watch Raw. I'm still going to watch SmackDown. I'm still going to watch NXT. I'm still going to watch AEW. I agree that a Hell in a Cell should not end by a referee stoppage or by a DQ. But the Hell in a Cell match between Rollins and The Fiend did not end in a DQ. It was ended in a referee stoppage. The referee stopped the match for the health of both Seth and Bray. More likely Bray, because he got hit over the head, along with a ladder, along with a toolbox, and along with a chair. He got hit over the head with a sledgehammer, and he wasn't moving. He wasn't moving on the mat for 5 minutes. But what are the fans going to realize? What are the fans going to remember? Are they going to remember the finish? Or are they going to remember the aftermath? Me? I see the finish. I saw the aftermath. But what really irritates me, is not that Vince McMahon booked it. Isn't that the Fiend didn't walk away with the title? Because let's face it, I've heard that people are saying that the Fiend got buried. He got buried under weapons. But as far as the match goes, he did not get buried. He survived 11 curb stomps, in fact, kicking out at 1. He survived a pedigree and kicked out at 1. He survived super kicked out at, you guessed it, 1. So Seth is saying, what do I got to do at this point? What do I have to do? My curb stomp isn't working, my pedigree isn't working, my super kicks aren't working, my weapon shots aren't working. What can I do? Bingo. Seth was probably thinking, I got to keep the Fiend down. So he goes, I'm gonna pile. So he goes out to the sledgehammer. He piles a toolbox, a chair, and a ladder. And the reason why the ref was telling Seth not to do it, you're going to kill him if you do this, Seth did it anyway. If you really want to think about this, think back years ago. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30. The whole thing about Cena is that he was freaked out. He was fearful of Bray. And Cena got over his fear and beat Bray at WrestleMania. This is basically the same concept. Seth has been outwitted by the Fiend. He has looked like a little girl on television. So Seth finally gets over his fear. strikes the Fiend with that sledgehammer. And the ref called for the bell. Why would the ref call for the bell? Out of fear. Why? Because instead of thinking that the Fiend is a demonic entity, is a supernatural being, he thinks the Fiend is dead. Seth snapped. Seth snapped. That's the reason why the ref called for the bell. It was ended by referee stoppage because the ref did not want it to go on any further. But then what happened next was even more remarkable. Rollins standing over a presumably knocked out Fiend. And then the mandible claw. Sister Abigail. Another mandible claw. Bray has a legitimate gripe. The fans had a legitimate gripe. But now I've seen two reports on this. I've seen that I've heard reports that Vince had to have, I heard that Vince, I was watching a video by WrestleMania, and their report was that Vince, there are two reports. Vince, one, laughed at the fans' reaction to the finish. Or two, Vince took the reaction of the fans seriously, and that Vince is not that dumb. Believe me when I say this. Vince McMahon is not a dumb man. He can book. He can book great at times. You wanna look at Vince McMahon's greatest bookings? Go to the Attitude Era on the WWE Network. Vince is a good booker when he wants to be. But at this point in time, do I want Vince to step down? Honestly, yes. Because let's face it, the XFL is coming next year. And Vince is going to have to focus all his attention on that, not the WWE. You know, it hurts me to say this, but I don't think The Fiend was ready for that title shot. I mean, think about it. Bray fought Finn, destroyed Finn, and then he goes after Legends. Then he goes after the Universal Championship. Honestly, I don't think Bray wanted the title. I think all he wanted to do was torture Seth Rollins, and that's what he did. The Fiend will be Universal Champion and mark my words on that. I'm Hardcore Christopher. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's meet that 1,000 subscriber mark. Don't forget, at 40 subscribers, I will be doing a Q&A video. You can send your Q&A questions to christopherbox25@gmail.com. Or you can put your questions down in the comments below. Don't forget to go show Wrestling for Fans, Anton Masters, and Spooky RoboCat some love. I'm Hardcore Christopher, and there is a bigger picture of this, I can guarantee you that. Keep it hardcore, everyone.